look back on my body of work, I think of it as traveling. I went to many different places and had many different experiences, and my art is like that. There's many different expressions of what I do, but it's all what I do. My name is Jan Dove, and I'm a generic artist. My father was military, so we moved a lot when I was a kid. Finally settled down in the Bay Area. I went to Catholic school, so I got a very good education, Latin, French, all of the classics. I think I got one of the last classic educations, but I couldn't take art because I was supposed to go to college, and I was the first one in my family to go to college. I have a degree in printmaking. Then when I went to graduate school, I learned about making artist books, so I do a lot of artist book making. And then when I went to work in a community college in Berkeley, I learned about digital art, and I have never turned back. My studio practice is a combination of all of that. I love to draw the figure. I love to get lost in finding the form. In developing an image, I might take some of the line, little pieces of the line, and put them together with my digital photographs to make more images and discover new forms. I watch to see what words that will bring to my mind, and then I start writing. And writing in the last 5 or 10 years has become an integral part of the artist books I make. Vegetation past enduring rock, past secret crevices, back to the blue-eyed jackdaw's closing speech. There is no other way to go. I love the Art Institute in Chicago. I got a full scholarship to go there. I chose to go to graduate school because I realized that I could get 2 more years to make art without having to explain why to anybody. I had to take an elective, and I just happened to sign up for this bookbinding class, and the teacher was Joan Flash. She was a wonderful teacher, and I learned about making artist books in the way that the content and the form of the book came together to make a completely new kind of art. The viewer became part of the book because of the interactivity that you built into the book. This was one of the first books I made. I was waitressing in a piano bar on west side of Chicago, and I came home with bar tabs. I would draw on the tabs when I wasn't busy, and so I made this book about 3 pretzels, because we always had pretzels there. Creativity comes from playing and curiosity. I start from a place of play. I always start from a place of play. Most people made a book. I made this book. And you can see that inside is what the postman gets when he picks up our postcards. Even when I'm thinking about things that are pretty dark, the physical act of it starts from a place of play, and I watch to see what happens. Oh, I made it backwards, that's okay. This is a project that has to do with my feelings on the environmental crisis that we're in. It's 10 3-line poems. This one says, "What has happened here? What can we say to the land? Trembling dragonflies." And there are going to be 10 of them in a box that I make to hold them together. After the Art Institute, I had a child to raise by myself, and I needed money. So I got a job teaching at the community college in San Luis Obispo. And from there, I took on a class teaching drawing at the local prison and encountered some very good students and some very interesting experiences. I discovered the inmate's style, which was very, very tight, methodical, and time-consuming. So I learned a lot about how to incorporate this time-consuming kind of energy in my art without losing my spontaneity. You can see it in the embroidery, this piece that's going to take 2 years. And it has to do with trees and the clear cut of trees and how that makes me feel. It's a long way from printmaking, but not so much. There's a bunch of us old lady artists who went camping one summer, and we were sitting around drinking wine and exchanging stories, and we started talking about being old and getting old. And I listened and I said, you know, there's an artist book in there. So Lucia Harrison and I worked together, we collaborated, and we joined up our experiences into this book, which is an essay about time as a linear thing and time as a circular process. It's a series of concentric circles. So on the outer circle of this Fauvel, I have written stereotypes for being old, such as archaic, getting on. And then on the second circle, I have our experiences as we were talking about that night at the campfire. You know your vintage when you enter a room and cannot remember why. When I'm working, the most enjoyable part for me is watching the thing grow. The process of letting it become, that's the thing I really love. I have been blessed with the privilege of living my life as an artist, and I just feel like the luckiest person in the world.